FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot and Amit dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the word, so shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC Sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. Previously shrouded in smoke was KDot, and this episode is about the defense. We did the episode with Rio Robinson on the offense, on Jaden Daniels, the expectations over there, and maybe some dark horse contributors. We're going to do the exact same thing on the defensive side of the ball today. We're also going to talk about Terry McLaurin. We're going to lead with Terry McLaurin here in just a moment. And we got the comment mailbag as we always do. But before we begin the episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Stephon Diggs at the helm. A-Train with a brick. Felonies in the air with the boat smelling thick. 2 kinds of pink and all sorts of shit in there stinks. Try to flex, ho. A-Train will drop a bitch in the drink. Y'all know the drill, people. Now shit is shit and don't blink. Woo!
Share this shit. That was really well done. Share this shit, and thank the Lord Stephon Diggs is not in our building right now. Oh my goodness. Someone who is not at OTAs right now, but is a model citizen, Terry McLaurin. He's currently, once again, not at OTAs. I don't think it's a big deal, but here's the deal. Jordan Schulz tweeted out, hey, he's still not reporting. Talks are minimal. He's upset. All this stuff, this sensationalist crap, in my opinion. But we got to talk about it because it was tweeted very recently. So KDot, number 17 for us, wide receiver 1. Are you worried right now where things lie?
Well, number one, all I'm picturing right now is what in the fuck would be the explanation if Terry was on that boat?
I mean,
we thought we knew you, brother.
I'd give him a pass. The NFC Championship game, well, that's fine. If this is what he's been doing, this, I'll just keep doing it.
That should be bananas. I'm not gonna say I'm worried. It hasn't gotten to the level of worry. It's just the kind of same energy I had last time, which is just, can we get this thing done? And that's the thing, is like when you start really digging into it. Look, man, we've made a lot of we've had some hard discussions on this pod over the course of the last few years, especially when we talk about like the end of the Ron Rivera era going into this new era. And what do we say? No one is above what it is the team itself wants to do or where it is the direction of the team is going forward. That's the most paramount thing. We want an exception to the rule. That's what it kind of boils down to with this, right? But at the end of the day, and Adam Peters I trust, but there is an element of like, if I'm looking at it just from a dollars and cents standpoint, it is kind of hard to know exactly how much Terry's worth. Because like when you start stacking him up against some of the other guys that have gotten some contracts recently, it's like, well, you're not going to get that money. Well, maybe you can get that money. Oh, your numbers are kind of similar to like DK Metcalf, but you don't have any of the physical gifts DK Metcalf has. So like, all right, then you finally got a quarterback that was competent one season. You did shit without competent quarterbacks. But where are you? Oh, and 30's knocking around the corner. So it's like, so I understand from the Adam Peters or anybody's standpoint, like they want as many receivers to get other contracts as possible so they can figure out how it is that they need to pay him. And I get it. They're looking at a receiver coming up on that big 3-0. It's like, what do you want to do? So like, I understand it from a business and dollars and cents point, but like the fan in me, the guy who loves seeing 17 on the field and every time that he's on any of those videos in the locker room or anything else where I'm like, this guy he's Mr. Commander. He's Mr. Everything you say you want this organization to be. You can't let him go. You got to overpay him if necessary. But then I don't know, is that stupid?
No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, this time it's not stupid. I'll say this. It is early June, and the last time Terry's deal got done, it was late June. So there's still time to go before training camp. If it's not done next week, I'm still not worried. If it's not done the week after that, I'm still not worried. If we get to day one of training camp and it's not done, Yeah, well, then I got some questions. I'm like, okay, what exactly is going on here? Because now we're beginning to mess with the upcoming season. If they do it the day before training camp, that's fine. I'm not worried until it is actually day one of training camp and there is just no news of a Terry extension coming anytime soon. That's when I would be worried about this whole thing. In the meanwhile, the take I had last week was it's more reps for Debo. It's more reps for Gallup. It's more reps for Noah. It's more reps for Jalen Lane. It's more reps for Luke McCaffrey. I'm good with it. So Terry's deserved this time to be able to do his own thing. And his own thing is not what Stephon Diggs does. It is working out. It is making sure he's in shape for the season constantly. Like that, it's just the way he's wired. So I'm not worried about this at all. Jordan Schulz, congrats on your likes and retweets and stuff like that. But this is nothing. And anybody that is worried about it, don't be. I'm fully confident that Adam Peters and co understand how important Terry is to the organization and on the field. So I think this is going to be just fine. KDot, how about this? If you were to predict what that contract's going to look like, what do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be similar to the DK Metcalf deal.
Okay, so that was what, 5,150, right? So if you
I think I have the numbers up.
Backwards 3 years, 90, you're looking at?
Yeah, well, 5-year 150 with his 30 million sign bonus, 60 million guaranteed. I think it probably I think it's right around. I do think that 30 million mark is like what we're looking for him, okay. And I think that's what he's looking for too. Yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's like the Jordan Schulz of it all. Like, is this just what he like? I'm not trying to throw anybody out there as far as like what it is that, but we're trying to figure out like where the story comes from. Like, is this Terry's agent dropping something? Is this the organization dropping something? Like, I hope not, but it's just like I just hope it's just rando just doing this shit.
Yeah, it's probably the agent. The org coming out and stirring it up makes no sense. So it would be
chaos agents.
They got bored.
No. Sometimes you could throw chaos into a mix of everything, and then you have like, all right, say for instance, if this is not conspiratorial. I know it's happened in the past, but what you could have is a team that basically throws out certain things. This guy's not happy about X, Y, and Z, and then just kind of see how the fan base takes it, and then from where it is, the fan base kind of go from here and there.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But when the Commanders put out a post about the NBA Finals, and every single reply is "Pay Terry."
Oh, no, that's not gonna work.
They got a good sense. They got a good sense of what they need to do.
The only follow up that I have for you before we bounce off the Terry thing, because we don't want to give Jordan Schulz his bullshit. But has your opinion at all changed on the Laramie Tunsil, Marshawn Lattimore of it?
No, not at all. Yeah, I'm still good there. On my guess for the Terry McLaurin deal, 3 year 96, maybe 97. I think that's what it's going to end up being, and I'm totally good with that. Any final thoughts here before we shift over to the defense?
Get the deal done, guys.
Get the deal done. And with that, we go over to the defensive side of the ball, where everybody but Marshawn Lattimore is at OTAs, at least amongst the notable veterans that we have. And last season, we were 18th in points per game allowed. We were 13th in yards, third in pass defense, by the way. Mm-hmm. But then all the way down to 30th in run defense. So, KDot, a number of additions have happened this offseason. The notable outgoing, two of them actually, Jonathan Allen and Jeremy Chin were the bigger names that left. And then coming over here, you got Javon Kinlaw, you've got Eddie Goldman, you've got Jacob Martin, all those bodies, Deatrich Wise that we put on the defensive line, Will Harris, notably at safety, who's penciled in as the starter right now. What are your expectations? And Trey Amos drafted, of course. What are your expectations for the defense heading into year 2 of Joe Whitt and Dan Quinn?
A step up. But it's always the rankings at the end of the season, whatever. I'm not going to necessarily go there as far as the expectations that happened this season, but I will say, like, just the way you feel and the way it is, you look at it. I love the Joe Whitt presser when he was everybody was asking him directly. I love it. He's just a straight fucking shooter. This coaching staff is awesome in that way.
So cool.
It's very, very dope. But you just basically they asked him, hey, what needs to change and what needs to get better basically from last year to this year? And it's like you kind of pointed. It's like, all right, well, look, they made some inroads here and there. We weren't trying to rewrite the wheel with anything that we were doing, but we know that there's certain aspects we get better. Run defense, finishing games. Like those are the thing. Interceptions and actually completing the interceptions. 16 dropped interceptions. And what Joe Whitt said, if we catch half of those, it's a completely different outlook as far as the way we think about the defense. And I see them making inroads on that. Do I see it being like lights out? Are we the 2000 fucking Ravens? No, but it's like, as long as they're making inroads on that, it makes this entire defense so much better. It's those things. When you do look at the numbers as far as the pass defense, when everybody's crying and screaming about, oh, we need to get the pass rusher. Even us, we've kind of fallen for it to a certain degree. But even as Joe Whitt said, is like, did anybody expect Ante Fowler to have double-digit sacks last year? No? Keep it moving, guys. Like, it's just, it's kind of what it boils down to is like, you look at the guys that they have on the defense right now, and a lot of the talk coming out of the OTAs, I mean, and we're in that period where everybody's sort of, you can't trust anything really coming out, right? Because they're not, the pads ain't on. They're really not really going at it, right? So, like, anybody could go run in the touchdown right now at this fucking point, especially at running back. But it's like, Deatrich Wise hearing rave reviews about what it is that he's doing. And it just feels as though they have enough bodies on that defensive line that it just feels as though the scheme itself is going to allow somebody or that's going to generate the pass rush you need there. But the more important aspect, the thing that killed us slowly over the course of last season was the run defense. And what do? They got bigger and meaner up front, which is what they needed. You looked at that defensive line last year against some of these maulers that we got in this division alone as far as running the football, and we were getting fucking moved around. They were getting moved around like crazy. Like, you finally saw Newton was coming along as things were going right and getting better when he was healthy, right? Payne looked, decent overall when comparing to anybody else, but even him, you're hearing about Payne in these OTAs, and I don't know, he wants some money. We know what happens when Payne wants some money. So it's like, I'm not worried about it, like, at all. I do actually look at this team, I look at this defense, and I say, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't take a step forward. Like, if as far as exactly what it is the Whitt said, they need to stop the run. They're beefing up the trenches on the defensive side to stop that. We need to finish plays. What do? They go get that dog and Trey Amos, right? To come out there. You got Mikey Sanders still entering the second year, and you got a full year of Marshawn Lattimore, which I'm still not sure exactly where you fall on it, but I still think it's a mistake. And I will say the Marshawn Lattimore of it all, that it's bothering more than I want to admit that it's bothering me that he's not there.
Sure.
Just throwing it out there. And I think that it's not because of the team chemistry thing or anything like that. He's a vet and he just operates a little differently. It's mainly because with him being away, I am fully questioning how healthy he is right now. Because I think if he was, he might be there. So, like, there's a part of me that's like, is this dude healthy again? Because, like, you can't tell a lot in OTAs, but you could definitely tell if somebody's hurt or not.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I think might be more about this than anything else. And, like, that to me is the concerning aspect of that. But every component of the defense that we need to get better at, they are. And you can hear in the coaching, they're working on those fundamental things in that second step, on that second year. They're working on the interceptions piece. They're working hard on the interceptions piece. So, like, I want to see shit like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. On the subject of Marshawn, real quick, and we can have a deeper conversation as we progress here, KDot. I'm not worried because I think certain players, certain veterans have their own way of doing things, right? And so some of them show up to OTAs, some of them don't. Some of them do their own thing, some of them don't. And for me, with Marshawn, I'm cool with that. So from that perspective, I think he's doing his own thing. I wanted to read this tweet from Jeff Zrebic. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Ravens, I do not see participating in voluntary OTAs right now. Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, Emory Jones, Kyle Van Noy, Nnamdi Madubuike, Kyle Hamilton. So, like, it's just to say, are the Ravens in panic? No. Like, I think this is just how it is for some people. Could he be unhealthy right now or not healthy right now? Yeah, maybe. I mean, imagine if he showed up and the report is, hey, Marshawn is here, but he's not practicing because he's hurt. That would really scare people. In which case, I would, even if I'm his agent, advise him, do not go. Right?
I'm already there.
I know you're already there.
When the trade happened, what were the first things I think I read off of his stats? His last Pro Bowl, 2021. Since then, as far as games played per season, 7, 10, 9, 7. Or sorry, 9, 9. 7 with them, 2 of those.
Right.
Don't love that.
Yeah. So I think him doing whatever he needs to take care of his body and be ready for training camp is the most important thing. For me, I play so much more on training camp than anything else.
Absolutely. As you should.
Right. So that's where I'm at. Defensively, I decided to look at last year's June 1st, 2024 depth chart and this year's June 1st, 2024 depth chart.
Okay.
Yeah. And so here were the listed starters, first of all. So just to show that this can change also. On the defensive line, it was Dorrance Armstrong, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Cleveland Farrell. Linebackers, Frankie Luvu, Bobby Wagner. Corners, Benjamin St. Juste, Mike Sanderstill, Michael Davis. And then the safeties, Jeremy Chin, Derek Forrest. Okay, so that's June 1st last year. We're now June 6th. So just keep that in mind when you look at our lads and the current starters as well. It's subject to change. Okay. This year, Dorrance Armstrong, Daron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, Deatrich Wise. KDot, you had mentioned Deatrich Wise getting rave reviews. The difference between him and Cleveland Farrell, Deatrich Wise 6'5", 280. Cleveland Farrell 6'4", 265. So 15 pounds he's given up there. And now he's backing up Deatrich Wise according to our lads, right? We'll see what ends up happening. Javon Kinlaw is a very interesting name because, one, people thought he got overpaid at 3 years, 45. That remains to be seen. He was a first-round pick in the 2020 draft, so he's younger. He played pretty well in San Francisco and did not play well with the New York Jets. We know that. Compared to Jonathan Allen, 6'3", 300 pounds. This guy's 6'5", 320. Yeah. So, like, you talk about... So, Wise is 6'5". Kinlaw's 6'5". And then there's Eddie Goldman, who's backing them up, and he's 320. And I think he's either 6'4" or 6'5" as well. So that size that they're talking about getting is present. And it makes me think, stop the run is the most important thing. When they mention Javon Kinlaw can be anywhere on that line. And I think about your All-22 review. Stay tuned for those guys. It's going to be awesome this coming season with KDot. Daron Payne being able to play on the edge and help stop the run. Johnny Newton is inside. Like, now I'm thinking, okay, we got Kinlaw one side, Payne the other, with Newton in the middle or just Eddie Goldman in the middle. Like, all of a sudden, that can get scary, right? So just because we don't know who's named Dante Fowler this coming season doesn't mean that we can't have a pass rush as well. But first and foremost, it's getting people into second and obvious and third and obvious. And so I've hinted at this for a while, but I'm cautiously optimistic, a little less cautious and more just full-on optimistic about the defense this season. So that's just looking at the defensive line. Luvu, Wagner, certified, not concerned about him. And then the corners. We got Mike Sanderstill, Marshawn Lattimore, Jonathan Jones. Those are the listed ones. Okay, and the safeties are Will Harris, Quan Martin. Quan Martin, we find out, played with 2 separated shoulders. I mean, he's got instincts for the ball. He had a pick 6 in the divisional round. So I'm good with Quan. I love his instincts. I love what he brings back there.
Whitt had it was very blunt and very honest about where it is that Quan was, which is like the dude will make the mistake of all mistakes, and then he comes back and is just balling. And he's like, all right, like, we just want the consistency piece basically from Quan is what I got out of that. Yeah.
Right.
But we got a baller.
Yeah, he even exactly what you say, Kate, about, hey, I made him run with the 2s last season. He had made too many mistakes. He knew he couldn't do that, and all of a sudden he's playing great. And so that forces his way back into the 1s. Might have been around June 1st, actually, that happened, if that's what Joe Whitt was talking about. But then you look at that secondary. I didn't mention Trey Amos, who is also getting rave reviews right now. Yep. I didn't mention Noah Igbenogany, who was underrated in the slot, according to PFF last season. Right? So now we've got versatility.
All around last year.
What'd you say?
Noah's probably our best corner all around last year.
There you go. So, like, now we're talking about versatility that we did not have last season. We didn't know what we had last season. I have a better sense of what we have this season. The players will have a better sense of what the scheme is. And like Joe Whitt said, if you catch half of those, you're in a much better spot. Doesn't mean you're magically going to catch half. We could catch even fewer this season, just to be clear. But the thing I'm really putting my chips in on is the idea that we are going to be in more second and longs defensively and third and longs defensively. That makes everything around us that much easier. So that's my expectation, is a really good first and second down defense. That's where I'm going with the answer to this.
So it lines up exactly what Joe Whitt was saying. So you're dead on. Like, as far as if anybody has the concerns going into this year as far as the defense, like Joe Whitt put it perfectly in the sense of, he says that he did his damnedest to never compare the 2023 roster to the 2024 roster. It's too much turnovers, too different. Doesn't really make sense to do that. Yeah. But now you mentioned we might know them better. You mentioned the players might know things better, but most importantly, our coaching staff knows what it is they have and don't have better than they ever have at this point. Come with this team. They walk into a team, they bring in a bunch of veteran cast-offs, hoping it'll work in the locker room, and then they're starting from nothing, really, if you're really looking at it. And now they're like, okay, this is exactly where we need to get better. We are diagnosing it, and you can clearly see if their logic is right, you can absolutely see that they've addressed every part of it. The first and second down, Joe Whitt said outright, we want to be bigger on first and second down. It was the response to the question about Frankie Luvu. And what did he say about Frankie? He's like, well, on third down, that's when Frankie's going to be able to do a lot. And he's going to be that Weapon X sort of guy, right? Just all around a problem. And another thing with those space eaters, as far as on first and second downs, it creates lanes in which you get some of these linebackers that we do, like Frankie Luvu and Bobby Wagner, being able to hit some guys in the fucking hole, and not get blocked or have the defensive lineman getting blocked into them, or just moved off of all these, like that. It all works in our benefit. And the first notes that I have after the Joe Whitt presser, I wrote Kinlaw, and then Payne. Right. And you hear about the reviews on both those guys. Like Kinlaw, love anything that I've heard as far as the interviews and everything where they asked him, he's like, yeah, Adam Peters likes me. That's my guy. I'm his guy. I think they might have some. You talk about the numbers as far as weight and height compared to what it is we have. I'm like, that is what we needed for this division. That's what we need as far as the run game. That's clearly what you could see when you're watching the All-22. They need to be bigger. And that was something that we had talked about going into this season. That's on the last season. That's something that we didn't talk about as far as the Dallas Cowboys defense Dan Quinn had. And what do they do as far as some of the size stuff that they're doing as far as the defensive line? Jonathan Jones, another one that I'm hearing from people are like, yeah, that's a vet, and he's there, and he's fucking playing. Will Harris getting rave reviews too. So it's like, I know it's early on, but like, I love the idea that like they picked all these veterans that ended up being wonderful contributors to this team coming in the last year. But now I think that because they can diagnose so much more about what it is the team actually needs, I think they're so much more honed in on anybody that comes in through those doors. That it's something truly special. Once again, if I'm looking at the only issues I have is I liked when everybody was there for the OTAs and everything else, and they're not there now, but that's it. And while I don't think it's a huge deal, I do think that it's different, right? So like I'd like it to continue the way that it was, but overall, if we're looking at this defense compared to last season, I don't know how, not barring injuries, but just how you can look at the down spots of this defense last year and not think across every level we have gotten better on defense this season. I'm sorry, Dante Fowler being missing is not enough to say that they have clearly gotten better. And if you look at the linebacker, well, they didn't do anything linebacker. What they did everywhere else will allow the linebackers to play better. That's the point. It's a team.
And there has been talk, and KDot actually, I would say you, along with a few others in the space, championed this, which is that the team is high on Jordan McGee, right? Yeah. And that last season, in fact, Joe Whitt even talked about Jordan McGee. They had a McGee package where they were like, okay, these are situations where we want Jordan in as a rookie. He just had the knee problem, right? The knee injury. Mm-hmm. So if he's not hurt, what does that look like? So I think they still have a lot of faith in Jordan McGee. He's only a second-year player, and now he's healthy, and he's at OTAs. So we're going to see what ends up happening. Let's transition over to the dark horses over here, KDot, because we mentioned the starters, of course, according to our lads. That's Daron Payne, that's Javon Kinlaw, that's Dorrance Armstrong, Deatrich Wise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what about some of these other names that people do know, or maybe some that people don't know? where would you go with this? Who are you anticipating makes an impact that maybe we're not talking about just yet?
I think, look, I'm going to name somebody you just named because I do think he's a dark horse just because of the atmosphere around the talking about him, and that's Kinlaw. I think the move on Kinlaw and the compensation has been the story, and it's pretty much everybody kind of being like, yeah, we don't understand that. And I think that the thing is, I get it. I understand it even when they made the move, it was sort of like, Kinlaw, huh, okay. Guess you know him in San Francisco, but like the New York stuff, Kinlaw, really? I want that. I think that aura around what it is that Kinlaw has, I think that changes completely this season. Like that's my biggest, boldest prediction is regardless of him having starter or not starter, I still think people have an idea of Kinlaw because of the compensation that has them thinking he's going to be whatever. And I look at this and I actually think that like what it is I'm seeing they're trying to do on defense, what it is we talked about when it came to the All-22, the way you painted that picture was perfect in the sense of if you want to put your Daron Payne elephant end and you want to have Johnny Newton, who's shown if he's healthy, he can be a piece inside, and you have a Kinlaw moving around doing other things. I just think the tandem like him and a Luvu like right beside him could be fucking dominant. Like I just look at that and I'm like, all right, that could be fucking really, really cool. Outside of that, like, of course you got the rookie. I'm huge on Trey Amos going into the season, like huge in Trey Amos. But I think there's a groundswell around Trey, so it's not a real surprise if Trey were to do anything crazy, right? But if I'm going to look at the other two guys, you've heard me name them a few times this offseason. Kinlaw's my guy. But if I'm looking at two other guys, I'm not sure where they'll be on the depth chart. I actually think they'll end up starting before the end of the season. One of them is Will Harris and Jonathan Jones. I really do like those two vets in this particular locker room and what it is they're going to be probably asked to do.
Yeah. No, those are very good shouts. The more I read about Kinlaw in preparation for this episode and a few months removed from signing him, the more I was like, wait, I actually just don't think that's a bad deal. The 3 years, 45, I get it. And I think that I understand it being an overpay based on just last season. But if we're looking at other stuff, no, I think it's fine. And so we'll see how it ages out, of course. So that's Javon Kinlaw that you had mentioned. I have two, maybe three names. One of them is not Kane Medrano, just to be clear, but he was mentioned as maybe a linebacker or safety. They're still figuring it out with his unique size, right? So once again, we talk about size, like they are really harping on it. You could tell from their free agency strategy. You could tell from their draft strategy. They are looking for length. Trey Amos, 6'1", 2, they are looking out for these types of players. First, this one to me is going to be a home run this coming season, Johnny Newton. A lot of people have mentioned that Johnny should be a really good interior pass rusher. He just needs people to set the edge for him so he can go to work properly. Right. And I think that a lot of the emphasis has been setting the edge. It may not be an exciting new first-round pick or something like that, but it is going to be someone that can hold on to that to keep the quarterback in the pocket, and that's where Johnny can do his thing. He also gets a full offseason. He was recovering last season from that, I think it was a Liz Frank, if I remember correctly, and then he wasn't ready until late in the preseason, early on in the regular season, and then he starts playing. Now he gets a full offseason, all the reps, all the practice, and can hit the ground running in his second year. And remember, he produced at Illinois, was an All-American, didn't know he was injured. They had to literally be like, dude, you're hurt. You need surgery. Okay, so the guy's a warrior. So that's Johnny. That's one. The other, Tyler Owens. Tyler Owens, to me, is somebody that he was a surprise making the team, but he immediately became a fan favorite for how fast and physical he plays. And when I think about a Dan Quinn defense, that is the personification of it. It's Tyler Owens. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, now that the coaching staff knows him and he knows that he can make this team, what does he do? He may force himself onto the field this coming season. I'm very excited to see a guy like Tyler Owens on the field. And I think the way he's built, I think he's going to find a way to be able to do it and maybe make a few plays for us. I think it's going to be super exciting to see Tyler Owens this coming offseason. That's a name I'm looking out for. Bobby Wagner's relationship, this is my last one. Bobby Wagner's relationship with Dominique Hampton is something I continue to look out for. Jordan McGee, he's going to probably get more of the headlines and more of the packages and stuff like that. A guy that plays real physical is Dominique Hampton. He's been doing it since his other Washington days, University of Washington. I think he's got it in him to force some fumbles and be able to play fast, be able to play physically. So those are my three names to look out for. It's Johnny Newton, Tyler Owens, real dark horse there, and Dominique Hampton. Those are the three names.
So I had a feeling about something you were going into this.
Okay.
I knew that you were going to say Johnny Newton, which why I didn't say him. Because if you pay attention to sports media and people that are really good at their jobs, Mina Kimes also named the X factor for the Commanders being Johnny Newton last week. And knowing how it is, you're going to say Johnny Newton and I know you probably watched the episode, but you don't want to give her any credit or anything. I was just waiting to see if it ever got brought up, but it didn't, clearly, because he hates women.
I actually didn't see that episode.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I just figured great minds think alike. She probably said it.
You probably think in your head that she stole it from you. That's just me.
That's a deeper issue we can talk about another time.
That goddamn bitch, she stole it from me in the future. Love you, Mina.
Do love you, Mina. Do love you, Mina. It was just
Stop
it was
lying.
The Dan Quinn thing was a bad take.
Stop lying.
Anyway, go ahead. Please continue.
Hate your lies. No, they're good picks. I mean, Tyler Owens was absolutely, I think, everybody's favorite fucking player coming out of the preseason last year. I don't know, he was mine. And then I just rarely saw him. When I did see him, sometimes it was good moments, but like overall, I just didn't really see him all that much. There's this class of guys in Washington that I'm like super duper excited about, and I just don't get to see do anything. So like Ben Sennett, super duper excited. You don't do anything, Ben. Of course, Tyler Owens, but then probably number one is a dude that I saw a lot of. You're just not doing anything. Is Luke McCaffrey? I think I saw some numbers they were tracking how many snaps he had compared to catches and shit. It's like if there's anybody that should be complaining about cardio, Luke, god damn, like it's just he's just out there. It's like, yeah, you'll learn this, son. Just goddamn run. So I was like,
yeah.
I'll say if it's a benchmark of what's going forward, I think Luke McCaffrey might have 115 catches. He'll know everything.
Could you imagine they go through the offseason? They're like, all right, let's review film of the season. And they just game after game, they're like, put the next one on, put the next one on. They're like, Luke should have had 150 catches this season. They're just like, he's always open. Revelation.
Film to me, I'm telling you, look, we got time in these offseason. I ain't fucking going watching all this shit as far as the L22, but they're available for everybody if you want to. I would tell everybody to look at Luke McCaffrey over the course of the season. I saw early on he looked like he was gonna be an all-pro, like just the way he got open, and then it just started going away. It's just like I think there might be something like I'm just out here running cardio. I'm just losing it, and maybe the coaches are like, hey. It's a test. We just want to see how you do it. Are you going to complain? Are you going to play just as hard? I don't know. We're on offense. Sorry. Got on the offense kick. But defensively, yeah, I think Tyler Owens is probably the dude that I'm most excited about if he is to pan out. If I could just get a glimmer of what I saw in that preseason, an upward trajectory on it, fuck, do I think we got something special in that dude. I want to see more. I just want to see more.
Yeah. I mean, we all do. And I think that, again, once you know you're on a team and you've gotten to know everybody, and there are certain things about team bonding that, you know, he experienced the ride last season, right? He wasn't always active, but like he knows the players now. And I think that level of comfort allows you to have a really nice season when it's a clean slate for everybody all over again. So I think someone with that physical profile, especially with the way that they have picked people up this past offseason, I think lends itself to Tyler Owens being able to make a move up the depth chart.
Do you think it's more or less competitive for him right now than it was last year?
No, I think it's more competitive for him right now, just to be clear. But I think
if I'm him, I'm like, make sure I don't purchase a house.
Understood. Yeah. I'm not like He's not a lock to make the roster, by the way. Right? Like, I understand that. I'm not like, oh, he's just penciled in as a starter, let alone he's easily in the 53. No, but I do think that given that it's year 2, he can play even faster. He can play even more physically. Joe Whitt had also mentioned that because it's OTA phase 3, that if they're 50-50 situations, they tell their guys to let up just because they don't want any injuries and they want to make sure that they're good once the pads come on and stuff like that. I think once the pads come on, we're going to get a lot of reports of, whoa, Tyler Owens is looking like that dude. Like, I think that's what's going to end up happening during training camp.
I'm just glad it sounds like where it feels to me. I don't know why it feels this way. It feels like we're going to have some fireworks come training camp.
Oh, absolutely. Because if we look at the offseason strategy, if we look at what I've been calling it is, we went from the Ted Lasso team, just the good vibes. We're just getting good people in the building. Everyone's having fun. And we have Jaden Daniels, who's like Jamie Tart, except like just the perfect person. And everything's just going great. That one was on the fly. I'm not sure how I felt about that. But then
I don't know how I feel about the whole Ted. Motherfucker spent the last.
It's sunshines and rainbows. Okay. It's all sunshine and rainbows last season. And it's like, well, here's the thing. We want to play physically. So offensively, you bring in a Laramie Tunsil, you bring in Deebo Samuel, etc. Defensively, it is everyone on that defensive line, and they are saying that, hey, we want you to be 6'5", we want you to be over 300 pounds. Like, that's important to us. Yep. Now we are just going to exert our will on teams and make them quit. It is a very, very different personality from the one that we had last season, which was, let's see what you got. We'll build from there. Now it's, we know what we have. This is who we're going to be. And we got number 5 at the helm, just deciding everything for us, knowing that we can convert on 3rd and short, 4th and short, and being able to set up 3rd and short, 4th and short more easily than we did even last season.
No doubt. 100%. Look, man, this feels like the R&D department. This feels Moneyballish to me. And
yes, it does, doesn't it?
It does feel like they're going hyper specific about certain attributes and certain things that they need on the team. Are like, we need to address this. This is the mold that it looks at, and this is what we're going to do it. And it doesn't feel sexy at times. It doesn't feel, it definitely doesn't create a whole lot of fanfare for you as far as a media buzz or even from a fan standpoint. But I will say, the more you do digging, the same way you said, like you did the digging on Kinlaw, same way I did the digging on Kinlaw, is like when you start looking at exactly what the team needed last year and exactly what it is they're doing this year, you can't help but start getting a little giddy. Like, it's like, hold the fuck up. Like, we made it this far and we were all just kind of flying through it, right? It's like, we hope we got the right guys. Like, it's all about mentality. But now it's like, no, we think we have the right mentality. We think we have a locker room that can cater to this and can keep it in-house and get people to be molded into what it means to be a commander. But very specifically, we need your set of skills for this particular set of things, and we're going to work hard for you to get that from it. That, to me, is the way it should be above all other things, right? So, like, yeah, I fucking love the way this team is built. It feels like and it doesn't feel as though what I'm trying to do. Sometimes it feels like you try to do this after effect bullshit to just sell yourself on something. Look, I try to keep myself medium so I know that I'm not bullshitting myself and putting myself in the gas, and I don't think that's the case in this one. I really do think they are hyper fixating and targeting on exactly the things they need and doing the process slowly, right? Like we hyper focus on this. This is what we need to address from last year. You play this year. Maybe it highlights another hole that you weren't sure about. Maybe one thing that was shored up last year goes away a little bit. So then you're like, okay, but what do you get? You get more bites of the apple. You get more opportunities to have guys that you develop in-house. This, to me, is the way you're supposed to build your team. They are killing it, in my opinion, on this aspect of it.
Yeah. To me, it looks like a team that's designed to win close games, right? Yeah. Where once it's the fourth quarter, which team's going to quit? It's not going to be us. That's one. And two, that's when that Jaden Daniels thing just takes over, right? Mm-hmm. If it's close, I was looking it up today. He's got 4 game-winning drives already in his career in the regular season, and he's already got the one, of course, against Tampa Bay in the postseason. It's already more than Lamar and Josh have, and they're phenomenal. Like, the guy is special. And so now if you're just creating close games for him, well, look out, league. Maybe Rio's right then. MVP season loading. We'll see. It's an exciting time.
I know I mentioned something last episode that I meant to do a complete follow-up when I'm kind of half-assing as we're going through the episode. I wanted to pull it up.
Yeah, sure.
I was looking at the Seattle Seahawks and Legion of Boom and everything, and we know who coached the defense there, being Dan Quinn. So I remember asking you, like, do you remember the guys that were on the defensive line, and like it was a struggle, like you really don't really remember. You'll remember the names as I say them.
Yeah.
Red Bryant.
Oh yeah,
left the end. 6'5", 326. Alan Branch, defensive tackle. 6'6", 350. Right defensive tackle. Brandon Bang, 6'1", 311. And then you had Chris Clemens. Everybody remembers Chris Clemens. Washington cast off after a season, and he ends up there in Seattle, 6'3", 255. Kind of unheralded career up until that point. What does he get? 11.5 sacks. There is room here, guys, if you know how it is that they're building this team. And I'm telling you, the key thing, I think, of all last year defensively, and probably our best moment as a podcast outside of you being so right about Jade Names, which I'm probably trying to downplay just a little bit, but yeah, was the elephant end conversation and the tracking of that as the season
it was.
And I think that if you buy into that and what it is that we saw when they did move Daron Payne around, in a sense that works, do more of that, then you're like, guys, we're here. This coaching staff is starting to be able to cook.
KDot, it was so on the money. It was to the point that when we were doing all 22 reviews, I was like, KDot, did we do more of that thing that you said we do? Because it's really good. I really like when we do that. When we put Daron Payne on the edge, because it looks like we stopped the run this week. And you're like, yep, that's what happened. And so
I remember after you asked me that question, I remember I did not have an answer to you as far as the number. And what I ended up doing was going back through all the all-22s to count how many times I saw Daron Payne on the end. I gave up after like 2 games, so I ain't fucking doing shit. It's like, but I can't come close. So I was like, oh, I might do this. This might be well worth tracking. Yeah, I don't want to fucking do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Any final thoughts over here?
Not thinking about it, but why didn't I do? God damn it.
Well, we got loads of time.
I was high.
Any final thoughts here before we move to the common mailbag?
Nah.
Let's go ahead and move to the common mailbag, featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Very rare. Me and Amit, I got to see a little bit of A-Train. We're actually in physical proximity to each other last week. We went to a wedding.
True, we were.
And while I was trying to do the Irish goodbye, I was outside smoking a cigarette and chain smoking. I was talking to someone who is one of my favorite people on the planet. I was talking to this person, and she told me she does not fit the demographic at all to listen to District Divided. She's not. She's French. She doesn't give a fuck about America. She doesn't do anything. But she says that she listens to our pod, and when she heard AI Nikki, like it was a moment for her. And she also went on to say that in every opportunity that she gets to find out anybody that likes anything to do tangibly with sports, including a few people that worked at ESPN, and she name dropped, she has talked to them about District Divided. I want to give a shout out to Issa. You're fucking awesome. You're still my favorite person on the planet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you share this shit.
Share this shit. Shout out Issa and shout out Nikki as always for that intro. Love that, KDot. All right. Shout out Nikki one more time and Issa. Appreciate that. Keep doing it. We begin with a couple comments from the Rio video, and then we're going to go right back to our prior video. This is from Kuma Time. Shout out. First time I've watched from District Divided. Thanks to Rio. You guys got a fan out of me. Really appreciate that. Kuma Time, KDot, your reaction.
It worked.
It did.
Rio, you were beautiful, son. Beautiful. We used you perfectly. I'm joking. Thank you. We need you back. We need you back.
Yeah.
We need all the guests. You guys were right.
Yeah, no. And now we're working on the next one already. So we'll go ahead and see how that one goes.
is working on the next one.
Yeah.
Give him the credit.
We are working on the next one. We go to Uptown 215. Shout out. Hurts is like a year older than y'all's QB. Crying, laughing emoji. And just so much worse is the thing. So, KDot, your reaction.
Look, man, I'm gonna stop. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Well, I get the rivalry and everything. I still hate Eagles fan, but I'm not gonna sit around here and just lie for the second line. Like, look, the Jaden, that is something that comes up a lot in conversations when I'm talking to people because they don't really have anything to shit on Jaden because you can't. But they're like, he old. I'm like, so? Like, what the fuck?
By old, you mean 24.
Right? It's like, fuck you. He's like, well, he's been all the time in college. Good. Maybe your quarterback should spend more time in college. Huh? Like, who gives a shit? But look, man, there's a good chance over the course of this season, especially if Saquon keeps going down this road that I think he's going down. I think that people can say it with your chest that he's better than Jalen Hurts. But as long as Jalen had the hardware and he was a legitimate piece of them getting that hardware, give him credit. You just got to give him credit.
Has Saquon denounced Starlink yet?
Nah, he's going to, trust me, it doesn't look that way. It never looks that way off the beginning. What you're going to hear is he's going to be involved in a lot of things around a lot of politically minded people that have a lot of opinions. And when they ask about it, I don't get involved with any of that stuff. Well, sir, you were on the golf course when nothing came up. No, it's just people play golf and I'll just play golf. And I'm not one of the good ones. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was like, wait a minute.
You're not there yet, brother. I got faith in you. But look, there's a part of me. Because you're Eagle, I want to see it. I want to see it happen. So.
By the way, it's got to be said, I had a couple people come up to me and say that the comment mailbag's their favorite part of the episodes because we tend to get a bit more unhinged and we just reply to people based on.
Oh, I got unhinged for you. You want to ask something unhinged? You want something fucking? What hurts me? Oh wow!
Well done. Yeah.
I'll never root for this fucker as long as he's wearing that stupid green. Can't happen. Won't happen. Will not happen. When we had the conversation about RG3 and we had the conversation with Acho, and I have this conversation right now about where Saquon is going, right? I will tell you one thing above all else. There might not be a more black or prouder to be black quarterback in the National Football League than Jalen Hurts. If you look at the team that's around him, if you look at what he's into, if you look at what he does, he doesn't do it with a lot of fanfare. He's about that shit and he's about that life. I respect the fuck out of it. In this world, in this day and age, you don't see a lot of people down with the cause. And I'm telling you, it's the one thing about Jalen Hurts. I keep looking, I'm like, God, I want to hate you. That stupid fucking goatee with your earring, you little piece of shit. You look like a fucking light-skinned villain in a Tyler Perry movie, you cocksucker. But, like, he's about it. It's like, I got it. This is why you see me shooting bail for Jalen. There ain't a lot of dudes about that life.
No, that's fair. I mean, look, the guy's a class act. He got benched in the national championship game, celebrating with his teammates when Tua threw the game-winning touch. I mean, like, he's a special person.
Yeah.
He's just not better than Jaden. We go over to Mr. Payne.
Blacker quarterback is Lamar. And I'm saying that
that was the one name that came to mind.
Ways. And yeah. And if you agree with me and you're not black, you're racist.
That's why I didn't say anything.
Deep down, I didn't say anything. How racist that is.
That's why I didn't say anything. We go to Mr. Payne. Happy birthday, Amit. Appreciate that, Mr. Payne. And KDot, appreciate you for shouting that out last episode. Thoroughly appreciate it. We go to MF Quotes. Shout out. I'm a new subscriber from Rio's channel. Great show. I appreciate that, MF Quotes. KDot, your reaction?
I love it, man. Keep dropping the love. I will say, Rio, there's no referral money coming your way. If they can keep saying they came from you, we ain't giving you nothing. But we thank you.
You're a wild boy, man. We
everybody keep dropping a name like you get $5. Some shit like it's a real post.
We'll be losing money.
We're only here because of Rio. You need to let everybody know.
We got Big Papa Grizzly.
Big Papa.
Who goes, I like hearing that Jaden is making mistakes in practice. Like KDot has alluded to a few times, before you can learn better from adversity than from success. Success can be a good teacher, sure, but failure breeds progress and innovation. With Jaden's mind being as sharp as it is, these small trip-ups will only make him so much better. You know what I really enjoy about the guy doesn't even deserve this shot, but just when the Seth Wickersham thing, You could have written this about Caleb's performance like all of last season in a comment mailbag on a Chicago podcast, and it would just be true.
Goddamn, son.
God, your reaction.
Unnecessary.
It was. I prefaced with it's unnecessary.
And look, I still stand firm. Caleb, sir, you are fucked. Like, you are fucked. You are fucked. You went to the wrong spot, brother. You are fucked.
Do you think it's still the wrong spot?
I think you're learning the second system.
Yeah.
Your second year.
No, it's true.
I think that it's a hard road. And I already think that locker room is weird. And as me and you alluded to it first, and I kind of agree with you. I just thought it was a plus because of generation change. Caleb's a weirdo.
The personality. Yeah.
His personality's not, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to, I'm going to get the squad around me. It's not Joe Burrow. It ain't Lamar. It ain't Cam Newton. He ain't the guy that walks into a room and everybody's like, I got to follow this man. It's not, he ain't got that. So I look across that locker room and I'm like, who going to do it?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like the vibes there. The vibes just ain't good. And remember, I think Ben Johnson's a genius, and I think maybe they can do some things on the offense. Once again, it's his second system. It takes some time, and I don't think they're in a position to want to give him a lot of time.
Yeah, no, he's already behind the 8 ball, as crazy as that maybe sounds. He needs to show something this season. I know I do make fun of him a whole bunch. I recognize that. But there is a good part of me that is rooting for him this season because I feel like it already happened. It's done. Okay. I had the fun already. Like
there was,
and it would be, what'd you say?
There was no robbery as much as you wanted it to be.
There was. I'm telling you there was. And then you even said so. We have it on a prior episode. The Chicago fans are crazy.
Oh, they're crazy. They're lunatics. But it doesn't mean there's a rivalry. Every crazy person that
from that perspective, yeah, they're not our rivals. Or no,
how many people try to have conversations with you amongst all the other demons that they see when you get off the metro there in Southwest? Like, you ain't on a rivalry with them. They're fucking crazy. Like, it's just what it is. And the Jaden piece. Look, there is adversity and failure can absolutely be those things. But the thing is, like, there are some athletes to reach this rarefied air where they are lunatics or psychopaths. Where what failure is to me, to you guys, not at all their definition. Like, in the sense of what makes them tick when things don't go the way they think they should have gone is enough that's failure. So, like, I don't know where that line is for Jaden. I just know the more and more I'm seeing and hearing about him, the more and more I'm realizing the kid might be a psychopath.
Yeah, but in like the good way from the fan perspective.
No, in the way of, brother, I wish you the best of luck in your personal life. You're my quarterback, and that's all I really want, and I want the best for you. But that ain't good. It ain't. It's the same way. Like, if you were working on fucking spreadsheets at the way, I'd be like, dog, take a break.
Oh, you're talking like that. Okay. Just the obsessive personality with the sport.
Yeah, go on vacation. I could see that motherfucker on a beach in Cabo. Goddamn Eagles.
If he were on the Diggs boat, he'd probably be just VR. There are just all these women around him. It's the VR headsets on.
Well, Mom, stay the fuck away. Y'all bitches stay on that side of the boat.
Wouldn't even need to because the headset's on. Jamal BB Shah Weed goes, making the Eagle fans cry at end of the season is the minimum. We can also put them in a state of hibernation for the next 5 years. Next 5 years would be something because they are set up to have a really nice roster for quite a while. Once again, we had mentioned this last episode, but Howie Roseman had 10 picks this past draft, and he has another 10 coming up this upcoming draft. And as far as I know, their cap flexibility still exists. Mind you, they signed Jalen Hurts earlier, and it's actually a team-friendly deal, the way that it's worked out. They've won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, to his credit, delivered in the playoffs, played a fabulous Super Bowl, and obviously played an annoyingly good NFC Championship game as well. They're set up for a while, but we can certainly have them crying at the end of the season, depending on how our season's going as well, KDot.
No doubt. Look, this last week has been extremely enjoyable with somebody who hates the fucking Eagles in the sense of CJ Gardner-Johnson's comments about what was going on after he got let go. Music to my motherfucking ears.
Oh, I missed it. What did he say?
Oh, he's not too happy that he's not there on the team. And like there is some shit that like, look, the entirety of last year, and I ate my words. Remember, I am not making any excuses for what my prediction was, that I thought that the locker room in Philadelphia was absolute dog shit and that they were going to implode in some sort of way. I've been hearing more stories about what happened over the course of the year, more about Dom and his impact and what the fuck is going on, where they had some guys that kind of saved everything. I'm trying to find the comments themselves. But I know that Vic Fangio, he was asked about him, and he was like, that was a salary cap type thing. I was fine with it as far as them letting go CJ Gardner-Johnson, which is not necessarily what anyone wants to hear, but it was in absolute response to it. God damn it. Why can't I find this fucking comment? I think I might have it. I was a test dummy for them. So now they can be like, my scheme work, or did like my skill set make it work 100? I had 0 issues. People had issues with me. So yeah, let the salary cap be the excuse.
Oh, wow.
Dysfunction in Philly. And then on top of that,
yeah.
Did you see fucking I don't know, somebody that was in the locker room during the Nick Foles Carson Wentz bullshit? And he was letting it fucking fly on Will Compton and Taylor Lewan's pod.
No, I missed it.
Yeah, man. Coach, I know you've been watching all this shit. What you think? And I don't want to hear the same shit everywhere. Man, they're just sad they're not a part of it anymore. Fuck off. Like, there's dysfunction there, man. That's what makes you guys you.
No, I think honestly, that's where your big Dom and Nick Sirianni, I think, get so much credit. People are like, oh man, Sirianni as a coach, like, I think he does a good job just keeping the whole thing intact. And that, I think that's the most important thing for any Eagles coach to do.
Think Nick does an amazing job down on his knees filleting Big Dom to keep him happy.
It is Big Dom. See, you and I are on the same page. I'm telling you, it's Big Dom, man. We go to Tony.
Big Dom, bring that cock over here with a Philly cheesesteak. I'll take care of you. We need the locker room camaraderie. I mean, I'm just asking. If you were head coach, would you do that? Would you take care of Big Dom for a Super Bowl? Would you? You might.
Tony, I'm so sorry that came right after your name. Shout out, Tony. Oh, gee.
I'm on Adderall, guys. I can think about one thing at a time now, so you got me. I'm here. I'm here for it, all right?
Tony goes, I think this is y'all's year. Keep collaborating. Oh, and you come up with ideas off the fans, Amit? Here's an idea. This is in all caps.
I know this is coming.
Team history. Season is about to start, so next off season, you're on the clock. Tony, here, bring it in real quick. Okay?
Keep doing it, Tony. Keep doing it.
You're right. You're 100% right. Okay, and we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be awesome. But because there's been a bit of a delay, now we got to make it like really, really good. And as we continue in, it's got to be even better. So now I'm currently dealing with some perfectionist standards, but it's going to be great. And hopefully not too great for my own growth as a person.
I'm bitching the AI at this point.
Well, actually, okay, so I meant to talk to you about that. We'll chat later.
George Preston Phillip. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Sorry.
I'm thinking like a video or something. Anyway, but we'll
the team was always integrated.
Like A-Train's a time traveler, and he watches this whole thing happen. Tony also goes, just went back to look at my comments from last week and saw y'all have 89 comments now. Bunch of clappy emojis. Appreciate that. But RG3 is like ye. He showed us who he was from the beginning.
Ye? Did you say ye?
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that go. I'm sorry. Do it again. Do it again. Try it again.
I don't want to. Feel very self-conscious.
It's yay. It's Kanye. Yay. Kanye.
Oh my God. But RG3 is like, yay. That was embarrassing. He showed us who he was from the beginning. Yeah. All right. Anyway, he showed us who he was from the beginning.
Oh, baby, I'm locked in.
But RG3 is like, yay. He showed us who he was from the beginning, but we loved him and believe in him too much to pay attention. Believe people when they show you who they are. I knew it from the moment he married his wife. Watch out for Saquon. Okay, so he's echoing that. Cornball, a lame. Oh, this is something we had also talked about. Cornball, a lame. Someone that does cornball shit. He says dumb shit, wears dumb shit, does dumb shit, looks like a dumb shit. He don't got shit to offer. Get out your reaction.
Look. It's the same reason I held back from saying RG3 or even Emmanuel Acho were Whitlock. I don't think we need to be making ye comparisons. All right.
Yay.
Like, wow. Oh, I said,
yeah.
Apologies. I don't think RG3 has done anything to be compared to a literal Nazi. I don't think he's gone that far. Look, there is a conversation. Maybe we'll do it on one of these after pods about these guys, and from another angle, in the sense of forgiveness that Black people show other Black people to make it to a certain degree or a certain level. I think there is a conversation that needs to happen around there, and I think that they're like, no, fuck that. That sounds like Emmanuel Acho. I'd never say that. There's just some things that I don't think people understand or necessarily are giving enough credence to, which is the reason that we kind of back our guys until it's too late.
Okay. Yeah, that is something for an after the pod where I would love to hear more about that. Lance Curtis, 4884, goes, I hear you, and I definitely smell what you're cooking. But the difference between Jaden and Dwayne is that Dwayne never wanted to be here. You could tell from the day he was drafted when they called his name and that camera got close up on him. He didn't want to be at Washington, so he never gave us 100%. We will never, ever know what Dwayne Haskins was going to be. Oh, sorry, let me reread that. We will never, ever know with Dwayne Haskins if he was going to be what I was so excited to see him play for the Steelers, and I never got to see it because he died tragically. But we'll never know what the kid could have been. Get out your reaction to that.
Yeah, him not. But I was so stoked for him to go play for Pittsburgh. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers, who just signed his before we're doing this shit. Motherfucker. To say Dwayne never wanted to be here, I think is a little harsh. I just think that when it comes to getting drafted in your hometown, there's a lot of distractions, especially if you allow a lot of people around you. Which is why I gave credit to Jaden, and why the big thing for Jaden, we were talking about the entire conversation wrapped around, at least that portion of it, was Jaden having people around him that took care of him and said no. Not a lot of people have that aspect of it. I think that's probably the main difference. I just think it's hard, man. Like, I look at myself being, shit, I'm 36 years old, and I still do dumb ass shit constantly. A-Train does dumb ass shit every fucking day. Like, it's part, like, just imagine you king shit. You walk into any room at the university and you got whatever it is you want. And now they gave you millions of dollars to go play this game. And here's the thing. You ain't got to do shit. The millions of dollars is yours. Like, you can literally say, go fuck off. I got my money. Doug, I took a month and a half off of high school senior year just because I could. I liked weed. Like, that's it. Like, you give me $1 million in my early 20s. Y'all motherfuckers would hate the fuck out of me if I played for this team. Because I don't think I don't have it in me. I don't think that it's necessarily a huge character. I just think that Dwayne or myself, when you look at that, are just more normal than your psychopaths like Jaden Daniels.
The only thing I'd push back on is, and because we truly don't know, I'm always a bit sensitive when someone's like, oh, this person didn't give 100%.
Yeah, I don't like that.
We just don't know, right? And honestly, I'm much more on the side of give the benefit of the doubt that they did. This is his profession all of a sudden. There's even the clip where he's talking to the offensive line. He's like, hey, what do I need to do for you in order to make this whole thing work? Like,
that was rough. That was rough.
It was rough, but like it's not a lack of effort, right? It's not the 100% issue, right?
No
so
doubt.
like, that's what I'm talking about, right? Maybe it wasn't the right way to do it, but it wasn't a lack of effort. A less than 100% because he didn't want to be here represents a lack of effort. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah,
it could have just been a bad situation.
I think my entire thing speaks to a level of distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that to me is what was prevalent here. And I think in order to do your job the best way you can. Most people need to be removed from distractions. And I think that's usually, especially at that age, that's what you kind of need. You need to be able to lock in. Some guys have it naturally. Some guys have structure that allows it to be. Some people have that support structure that can remove the distractions. Other guys, it's really, 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 really hard, especially when you have that much fucking money and you're doing all sorts of stuff. I feel for these guys. When I hear them getting into some dumb shit, some things, of course, not going to ever, but like, when you hear like the Dwayne thing when it came to like the COVID stuff, and it's just like, dude, you ain't got to do that shit. Like, come on. But I get it, because I also know what it's like to not have my brain be fully fucking developed. And I don't know what it's like to have millions of dollars and not have my brain fully developed, but I can't imagine it would have been good. A-Train be dead.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We go over to Jamal BB Shawbomb. We shout out. I heard this from Bad Dog, a Giants content creator, and I paraphrase: the passenger Hurts is only there for a free ride. LOL. So Jalen Hurts will naturally be the subject of banter and disrespect on a Commanders podcast, on a Giants podcast, on a Cowboys podcast, of course. And I'm here to say that Bad Dog is 100% correct. Get out your reaction.
Look, on principle, fuck Jalen Hurts, fuck everything he stands for, right? Fuck everybody around him. It's hard to shit on that black man. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I don't like him. I don't like him. There's some guys that, like, as soon as they take the uniform off, it's like, oh man, I can appreciate you for who you were, but you still got the uniform on.
He's a lovable, he's a lovable dude. He's just got the Philly uniform on, so just is what it is. Hermit Rob 5481 shout out. The reason Terry's contract is not done or any extensions is they want to see who becomes available. Much harder and easier to structure contracts when all your ducks are in a row. If that takes Terry skipping voluntary workouts and drills, not practice, schemes, and installs, big difference, then so be it. Agree with Amit on Lattimore. Get healthy and don't chance it for the same reasons as I mentioned with Terry. KDot, your reaction.
When maybe I don't have the full context. When he says to see what's available, what, in the sense of we're buying our time, that maybe there's a better option than Terry? Is that the gist?
No, I think it's so I think the idea is that if there's certain free agents that become available, that we can determine what the cap number is going to be for Terry this coming season. So that's the way I took it, because we have about $23 million in cap space left. And so if for whatever reason, post June 1 cuts happen all the time, and now it is post June 1. So if anybody gets cut, maybe you want to be able to make space for him. Maybe they're still figuring out if they want to pick up a Von Miller or Zadarius Smith, for example, and that also factoring in. Okay. I think that's the thinking behind that. Not we got Terry. What could we do instead? Yeah, I think that would be ludicrous. No, I think it's more the former.
After that explanation, I'm hoping that's what it is. It makes sense to me. I could see that to some degree. I'd still just say take care of the fucking dude, and I'm kind of fine with what it is we're going in, but I'm not the guys running the show. I still think it has much. I just think that where Terry said, it's the same thing every time those wide receiver tier lists and shit start coming out and you see Terry McLaurin, it's an interesting conversation. And like we're always going to be higher on Terry than other people are. You go into every conversation, that no matter how objective you're trying to be, we see him play and we saw what he had to deal with on a day in and day out basis here, where we know, right? But when you compare him to the other, it's why I always say is like when you start looking at the physical tools and gifts, is when you start looking at the other guys that's supposed to be around his tier, and you're like, he ain't got those things. Like, it's just not there. Do I think his effort might be beyond all those guys? Yeah. But it's still like, DK Metcalf's a big motherfucker. He can run really fast. Like,
it's so much right Terry can do in that situation.
AJ Brown's a big motherfucker. He can run fast. Like, this dude's just like, they just got that. Jamar Chase, speed for days. Tyreek Hill, speed for fucking days, right? You got Justin Jefferson, the perfect receiver. Like, Terry's not that. He'll never be that. He doesn't have the physical tools. Nobody got his heart. But when we're talking about that, like, it's okay, dollars and cents. Mm-hmm. Where is he? Like, I want to put him at 30 million, but it's like, so when you come with the 3-year, that, do you think Terry McLaurin should be paid more per year than DK Metcalf?
Yeah. I do. I think, well, also for two reasons. One, it's happening after DK's deal.
Yeah.
And so because it's after, it's just the way things work. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, it's because of what last season, I know you don't always pay for just pass, but in this case, it's an exception to the rule for just how important he's been to the franchise. And he's played under every nickname moniker that we've had, basically. Okay, so yeah, he's a little bit special to everybody. He gave us a season we're never going to forget. And I think he's going to give us one, maybe two more that we're not going to forget. And so it's important to be able to pay him for that. And so that's why I think it should be more than DK Metcalf. So just
if he gets paid more than DK, he's the fourth highest paid receiver in the National Football League at minimum.
Yeah, I got it. That's just the way the market works.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine. We go over to Carlton Minter, 5457. I need this song. Where can I download it? It's the intro track, KDot.
Go to where A-Train gets his music, like YouTube to MP3 converter. You can
I actually do use that. No, it's quite nice. Yeah, when they don't have it on Spotify, you do that, and then you can play it and put it in Spotify, and it works quite nicely. It's true. So yeah, you should do that.
Where else is he gonna find the song "Fuck on Cocaine"?
Okay, that's Coach rounds out the comment mailbag. He goes,
it gives me a lot of pleasure.
I was
it feels like the face down, ass up. That's the way we like the face down, ass up. That's the way we like the. Tell me you haven't gone to Clarendon bumping that.
Coach goes, I was in China during the Legion of Boom era, so I'm taking your word on the team and I'm doing my own research. If anything, Vic Fangio's Eagles defense is Legion of Boom 2.0.
Oh, God damn you.
Fangio has immaculate attention to detail, and his defense is focused on doing 3 to 4 things at an elite level. Whitt's defense, conversely, blitzes a lot, 36% of the time, and does a bunch of twists, stunts, loops, and games, top 5. At some point, you need to be able to win one-on-ones, and I just don't see Washington's defensive line doing that. KDot, your reaction.
I'm sitting here trying to think of something clever as far as Legion of Boom, but all them hicks that they got in that fucking, I'm sorry, just white gentlemen they have in that secondary. I don't like it. I don't like it. I like my secondary like I like my coffee. Oh. And sprinkle in a few Samoans. Shit like that. I think now, if there's any Legion of Boom as far as the secondary goes, this probably is Philadelphia because you guys have the best everything at this fucking point. But secondaries just aren't what they used to be. Like the Legion of Boom, in the sense of like the physicality of which they played with, I just don't see that level of physicality from the secondary anymore. Like the guys that we grew up loving as far from the safety position, they've sort of eliminated the things that we loved.
Yeah, it's straight up not allowed.
Right. So it's like, that's why it's like every year you start seeing like the Javon Hollins, like the young guys. Yeah, those guys are a little few and far between, but it feels as though every few years, unlike like a left tackle or a premier edge rusher, you don't really see a lot of the safeties, or you see a lot of safeties actually being available at different fucking points in time. I just don't think it's just the secondary is just different. It's just different. Like the Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Brandon Brown. Like I don't see that shit.
Yeah. So in terms of Legion of Boom, in terms of defensive efficiency, I don't have the exact numbers, but I would say that, yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles defense up there with a defense like the Legion of Boom, which is a historical defense. I would call the Eagles 2024 defense historic. It was incredible. Just for turnovers forced in the playoffs alone, it was incredible. It was at least at 3, maybe 4 per game, right? Absolutely fantastic. In terms of style, it's different between the Legion of Boom and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I want to make that very clear, because you had Cam Chancellor, who was just knocking people out, and Earl Thomas was able to do that, but was also flying around the field, and you just had no clue where he was. Having a joker safety like him was crazy, with Richard Sherman on one side and a corner as physical as Brandon Browner on the other. Like that was, man, the more I think about, jeez, shout out Dan Quinn, man. What a fucking defense that was. And you had mentioned the defensive lineman earlier. Didn't even mention Michael Bauman. Woo.
Yeah, Ben comes later.
That's right. Jeez.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is like, look, the fact that Philadelphia's defense has 2 Jack Doherty lookalikes in the secondary is weird to me, but I think that's where that fucking that touchdown that goddamn Super Bowl, it made me so angry. It made me so angry.
Just knew it was coming, man. They just, God damn it. That was the comment mailbag. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode, where we did a quick run through of Terry McLaurin's situation one more time, and then the defense and the focus there, the expectations and the dark horses. I'm Amit, that's KDot. If you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Look, I know that most of us consider ourselves like good citizens or good people or what have you. So I like to float this here to people. I don't want this as a philosophical question to you, okay? If given the opportunity to know that there was a terrorist attack coming and you could prevent this terrorist attack from coming by shooting said terrorist in the face, right? I think most of the guys here on the comment mailbag would absolutely say, yeah, I could do that. But I posit this to you. If you could stop that terrorist attack by blowing said terrorist and nobody dies, would you do it? And if the answer is no, and you kill a man instead of blowing a man to save lives, you should probably reevaluate the way you're living your life. And
share this shit. Happy Pride Month, everybody. We'll see you guys next Friday, 2 p.m. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.